Ebrahimoff, and this morning I wanted to do chapter 91 in the book of Psalms in Sefer Tehillim. Over the weekend, while in the Hamptons, somebody came up to me and she said, I read your book. I still don't understand what's going on. Now, she doesn't know much, but I felt it important to go out of my way to see if I could help this person understand what this chapter is about. And I remember when it was just a super tragedy at the Hampton Synagogue that there was a car accident that two people passed away in. And I was in the synagogue and there were two caskets in the main sanctuary. And they said, Haftorahman, say chapter 91. It is something very important to help the souls. So let's see what this chapter is all about. If you have a copy of my book, From Your Lips to God's Ears, you can look on page 341. If you don't have it, kindly go to Amazon and order yourself a copy. Here we go. The author of this is none other than Moses. And Moses, as you know, was the leader of the Israelites and the receiver of the Torah at Mount Sinai, a shepherd chosen by God for his humility and loyalty to his sheep. The penultimate verse of the Torah describes him as the greatest prophet of all time. Lo kam b'Yisrael k'Moshe od. That Moses was the greatest prophet of all time. When did Moshe write this? He wrote this psalm prophetically about the difficulty that Israel will face in exile. In it, he tells Israel to remain faithful, that the ultimate redemption will eventually arrive. Now, what is the genre of this chapter? Is of individual confidence. In this chapter of Psalms, the worshiper expresses absolute certainty that his prayers will be heard. So that is why you would call it a psalm of confidence, as categorized by Herman Gunkel. Chapter summary. Moshe describes here the excellence of the tzaddik, the righteous individual, who trusts in God. He further depicts 4 levels of cleaving to God. Interesting how you cleave a diamond, but also you connect to God, and of the divine supervision. He also speaks out against plagues and concludes with offering a song of thanksgiving. Now, this chapter is 16 pisukim, 16 verses long. It breaks out into 2 parts. The first 8 psukim, the author proclaims that God will protect the one who trusts in him. Accordingly, such an individual has no need to fear the darkness. He asserts, too, that God will destroy the wicked. Now, in these first 8 verses, there's a shimush tehillim, a usages of tehillim, which I will point out when we get to that pasuk and that verse. This chapter is recited as a part of the Pesukei de Zimra, the verses of praise and song to the morning services on Shabbat and Yom Tov and the holidays of Passover, Shavuot, Pentecost, and Sukkot, Tabernacle holiday, and then Hoshana Rabbah, the 7th day of Sukkot, of Tabernacle. And this is recited following the Amidah, the Shmona Esrei, the silent meditation of Ma'ariv, of the nighttime services, when you have the special prayers when the Sabbath goes out. It's also recited by some as part of the Kriyat Shema that we say before we go to sleep, a prayer to God. And it's recited, here we go, by the burial ceremony at a gravesite. Some recite it 7 times, I remember. Okay, so let's start out with the first verse. We're now on page 342. We're about to begin chapter 91. Yoshev, he who dwells, Biseter Elyon, in the shelter of the Supreme One. This concept is proliferated in the book of Psalms, that there's God and I'm in his shade. I'm in his space of the protective shield. God is always guarding me. Beseter Elyon, Betzel Shaddai Yislonan, under the protection of Shaddai. Shaddai is one of the names of God. He will abide. Beis, verse 2. Omar Ladonai, I will say to God, Machsi u'mitzudasi. He is my refuge, my mitzudah, my stronghold. This is Moshe talking about God. Elohai eftach bo, my God, whom I have bitachon, who I have faith and trust. Here's the Shimush Tehillim verse. So let's read why. It says to ward off evil spirits. Verse 3 states, for he will save you from the snare trap, from destructive pestilence. So it's extrapolated that this also is anything that brings you bad luck. We have in Judaism a mezuzah, on the doorposts, a scroll with prayers in it that is attracting a godliness in your home, a holiness in your home. So here it's referring to evil spirits, that they also believed that they were sheidim, and that they were evil spirits, and sounds similar to the word that we use for God. Kihu yatzilcha mipach yakush, for he will save you from the snare trap, midever havot, from destructive pestilence. So this is part of God's protecting an individual. Be'evraso yosedlach, with his wings he will cover you. V'tachas knafav techaseh, and beneath his wings you will find refuge. Can you imagine? Anthropomorphically, which is a fancy word for speaking about God in physical terms, that you will find refuge under God's wings. The eagle's wings is the bird that flies the highest, so everybody would be protected under God's wings. Tzinav v'sochera amito, his truth is a shield, and it comes back a full shield. Now we have the second reason why you would say this chapter is to alleviate fear. I could use some of that. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day. So that would be to alleviate fear. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day. So what was the terror of night? Well, back in the day, nighttime, people could sneak up to you, they could kill you, they could hurt you. So here, you don't have to worry about that. Let's continue. I mean, obviously, if the arrow that flies, you're in a wartime and people shoot arrows at you, that's dangerous. So you'd be afraid of that happening. But not if you had God as your shield. Magen David, the shield of David. Midever, this is Vav, 6. Midever, from pestilence, ba'ofel yehaloch, that prowls in the darkness. It continues about the darkness. Miketev yashud tzoharayim, nor the deadly plague that ravages at noon. And let's see what the commentary says. Lo sirami dever, this is dever asher ba'ofel halayla, yahaloch lehazik, v'lam lo miketev, shadai shade hakarui kotev asher yeshud yeshoreru v'yizik b'sha'at saharayim. That, thank you, Reuben, for mumbling through the Hebrew, but what it's saying is that the deadly plague is those shadim, those evil spirits, and that there was deadly plagues that would ravage people in the daytime. Well, they believed it. 7. Yipol mitzidcha elef. 1,000 will fall at your left side. Urivava miyaminecha. And 10,000 at your right side. Elecha lo yigash. Even though that's going on to the right and to the left of you, to the 1,000 and the 10,000, elecha lo yigash. But it shall not come near to you. Rak be'enecha tabit, only with your eyes you will see. V'shi lumas rishaim tir'eh, and the paying the evildoers with what they get. Now we go what they deserve. Here we go into the second half of the chapter 91 on page 341, chapter 91 of Psalms, 9 through 16. Moshe declares that God will send his angels to guard the tzaddik, the righteous man, on his path. One who believes in the Lord's protection, Moshe assures the reader, will be awarded with long days and seeing true salvation. So let's dig in. Ki atah, for you, Adonai machsi. It's using the word machsi again. Adonai is my refuge, that I can hide behind God. Elyon, the Supreme One. Samti me'onecha, you have made your dwelling. Lo, we go now to verse 10. Yud, lo se'une elecha ra'ah, no evil shall befall you. V'nega lo yikrav ba'ohalecha, nor no plague shall come to you near your tent, which is where people live. Ki malachav, for his angels, yitzavelach, he will command on your behalf, lishmarcha b'chol derachecha, to guard you in all your ways. Al kapayim yis uncha, they will carry you upon their hands. Who will carry you? The angels, which we thought they're not physical, but somehow they will. Pen tigof be'even raglecha, or if not, you will hurt your foot on the rock. So the angels would lift you up on your journey, and you didn't have the risk of getting hurt. Al shachal v'fesen til dof, you will tread over the lion and the snake. In other words, normally the lion was a threat to you, that you were afraid of the lion roaring and attacking you and ripping you to shreds, or a snake, that it would slither along and have the rattlesnake and that it would bite you, and you were afraid of that. Now God is saying through Moshe that the time will come where you will walk over the dead lion and you will walk over the serpent without fear. Yud Dalet 14, Kivi Choshak, because he clings to me with cheshek, with desire. Ve'afaltehu, I will save him. Asagvehu, I will strengthen him. Ki yodashemi. Why is God doing this? For he knows my name. When do you know somebody's name? I know him. Is that a person that desires a connection to God and to come closer and closer? He would start off by saying, oh God, Hashemu Elokim. Yikra'eni ve'enehu. 15, when he calls upon me, I will answer him. Imo anochi bitzara, I am with him. When I'm in distress, I have God with me. So I should relax and have no fear. Achaltzeyu ve'achabdehu, I will free him and honor him. Let's read that again. When he calls upon me, I will answer him. I am with him in distress. I will free him and honor him. We have to look into that. Last pasuk. Orech yomim asbiyehu. I will satiate him with longevity. Ve'arehu b'yeshu asi. And I will let him see my deliverance. What confidence that a person here, Moshe, is describing somebody who has these trials and travails, as the colloquialism goes, and yet there's a confidence with the situation that the better days are coming. That if I believe in God and I come close to God, God is going to protect me, and that I am going to be safe and sound going forward. So I thank anybody that's been listening. Press the like button, and see you again soon. Have a great day.